Thank you. I think for us it's a great privilege to be part of the Nedbank Cup. It's a prestigious tournament that has been around for many years, and of course, as a young club, first season in NFD, to be part of the last 32 in the country is wonderful, and look forward to enjoying ourselves and giving a number of our players who are many of them new at this level, you know, an experience of to experience this wonderful occasion. And of course, it's made much sweeter playing the league champion Sundowns, So we're looking forward to the game, and we hope we can do well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach. We will then open it up for questions from the floor just by show of hands. We've got two roving microphones on each side. We'll take the first one, and it is Benjamin Miranda. Get the microphone to him. Coach Benjamin Miranda is what you use. How do you balance the two, wanting to go far in the Nedbank Cup as well as wanting to stay in the Motsepe Foundation? How do you balance the two?
Now, football is just about one match. So what is important is the next game in front of you, and the next game is Mamelodi Sundowns. And that is all on our minds, and we wanna give it our best shot, put our best players on the pitch, and that's all we're going to do. You can't play looking too much forward. What is the next game? What is coming? Of course, the priority is to stay in the league and to do well in the league, which currently we're not doing so well, But at the same time, you can't then say, no, we're in the net bank, we're just gonna go easy and honor the fixture and participate. That will be disrespecting the game itself and disrespecting this prestigious competition. So we're going to go and put in our strong team and go all out to give our best performance.
Thank you, Coach. Let's move on to Temba Shabalala.
Temba Shabalala, Joseph from Sports. Coach, beautiful match ahead. I suppose that you also having your players selling themselves on that one. I mean, having seen you play to a 3-all draw against the Roma Lions, and having to play and lose 2-1 to Cape Town City, that tells me that as much as you score, but you also let in. And coming against a Sundowns coach that is well cooked can be a problem on their day. We know that they're still the record holders in this tournament in terms of scoring goals. How do you then plan against the attack, looking at what they possess?
We go with no fear. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They're beating everybody who are we to run and then come and say, hey, we have to. No, we have no fear. We're going to go and do our best. We know what Sundowns is capable, what they've been doing for so many years. So we will put our plan in motion, and whatever happens will happen. But you're not going to go there with fear of what will happen. It's a wonderful experience. From a perspective of the players generally, any young player or anyone who's never played at a professional level against a team of that stature, they'll be looking forward to playing in that game. And you have to give them the opportunity to express themselves and show their quality. So, I mean, if you lose, you lose. But as long as you don't lose yourself, you show what you've got and what you're made of. That's what is important for us for this game. The result will take care of itself, but we want to put up a good performance. We want to show what Gomora United is about and what the future holds for Gomora United and their contribution to South African football.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take a question from Mazola, and then we'll move on to Peter.
Afternoon, Coach Ashley. My question I wanted to ask the belief that you have that you can come out with something from this game, are you looking at the gap between the first tier and the second tier, or you look at Mamelodi Sundowns in itself as a team on its own and their quality? Because some coaches, depending on who you're playing against, they reckon the gap between top flight and second tier is not that big.
No, both. There is a gap. That's why you are in the multiple foundation championship. And there's the PSL, there's a difference. Unless, of course, I don't know how to use the wrong word, you don't understand football or a delusional. PSL and just like every level, there's a gap. And besides, and then you have Sundowns that have proven over the years their capability. I mean, they almost won the CAF Champions League last season. So there's a team with a lot of experience and capacity, So, but again, you can't take all of that and speak about and focus on that. You just have to know what the team is capable of and try to prepare the team as possible and see what you can come up with. I mean, this is a competition in itself that prides itself on, the underdogs producing those shock results. So you put the plan into action and you hope for the best. You can't go without any belief in any person. Otherwise, you'll be dead long before the match kicks off.
Okay, coach, let's move on to Potato.
Good afternoon, Coach. That's Makhanya from Popular Radio. Coach, you mentioned that this is a big occasion for your club as well. It's a good time for your players to show what they're capable of and what they can do. But how would you then guard against many of your players will be playing against some of their idols, where they see themselves playing perhaps in a few years? How do you guard against them not performing to their best because of you playing with your role model?
Yeah, you don't really guard against that. For everyone who has played professional football, who's a current professional footballer right now, they always have their boyhood team, for example, the team they supported growing up. They have their idols. But once you get to that level, then you understand now this is work, this is professional football. We are not there to admire anyone. So just as they have their idols, some of them might have been Sundown supporters, but you have young boys that are ambitious, that want to achieve something, that want to show their quality. And when the platform is there, then all of that goes out of the window. So that I'm not bothered about that. That they'll be playing and looking at Timbers one or staring at no. It doesn't happen like that. Once you get on the pitch, for every footballer, you want to show your quality against the very same idol that you've admired growing up. That's how it goes.
Okay, coach, let's go to Nick. I've noted Tepan as well as Miso.
Good afternoon, Coach. Nick Leeson from Backpage Media. You guys are winless in your last four Multiple Foundation Championship games. How much of a confidence boost will a good performance give for your side for the rest of the championship campaign against Sundowns?
Yeah, look, every game is important. The past four games we've played, we've had very good performances, which is pleasing. Their results at the end might not really paint a picture, but this young club in its first year, in its first season, and we knew that it was going to be hard. But we take heart from the performances against a strong Cape Town City, the Roma, Event FC with a very experienced coach, many years in the NFT. But we've measured up very well. But of course, when you've got a lot of guys that are starting out, that have the talent, those individual errors will always creep in. So, but the process we're in is going well. We are happy with our performances and the processes that is happening. So we are confident by the performance, but not the result. So we hope. I mean, if you have a positive result, not even a result that we can really focusing on, but you have a positive performance, there it will go a long way in boosting the morale and confidence of the team for sure.
Sapang?
Coach Sabang from Soccer Laduma. You've mentioned the young players in your team, but you also have the experienced guys like Ngolisi, Justice, Chabalala. What role are they playing ahead of a game like this? Because they've played in the top flight for many years. And just to move away from the game, you've had some GDC players moving from GDC to Motsepe Foundation Championship. And you've coached in the GDC before. How important is that move for some of these players who might not be able to break into their first teams in the top flight?
Sure, the experienced guys are key, of course, off the field and on the field, because of course a game of this magnitude, some players might be overwhelmed on the field. So when you've got those two, three senior players who are able just to calm the players down, give them direction, keep them on the plan, they'll be very key on the day. And of course, football is about growth. For any young player, you move up a level from GDC to Motsepe Foundation is another level, a higher level, much stronger than the GDC, much more difficult than the GDC, but it will be an addition to their development, it will be part of their development, make them better, prepare them better even if they get an opportunity to go to the PSL. So I've always push for GDC players that are not ready to go to NFD teams over the years, and it has helped many players greatly.
Smiso?
Good afternoon, Coach. Smith Simpson, Independent Media. Coach, you spoke about the power and the reputation of Mamelodi Sundowns, but this season, unlike most seasons, we've seen a certain vulnerability when it comes to Mamelodi Sundowns. They've just come from a loss as well away. Is Do you feel like perhaps this is the right time to be able to play a Mamelodi Sundowns side for you to be able to have a positive result on the day?
Yeah, I don't think from our perspective we'll look too much into that they've lost in the recent match in the CAF Champions League. That is way above our level at the moment. I don't think we can look at it and say no, they are ready for the taking. In fact, you will think that that makes them even more determined come Wednesday from that defeat. Quickly, these games is perfect for them because after a defeat, the best thing to recover is to have a game immediately. So we know we're in big trouble because of that. So they're gonna come firing from all cylinders, just to get the confidence back, just to get the morale back. So we know from the beginning of the match it's going to be tough. And we know that if we can just be settled in the early part of the game and we don't allow them to really go ahead and then we should be fine. But we know it's going to be more tougher because of the struggle they've had, the loss they've come from.
Thank you, Coach. Let me just check because our 15 minutes is up. We just want to check. Do we have any questions for the embargoed section? If we do, if we don't, we just continue with the live section. Do we have any other people who are waiting for that? All right, we'll continue then.
Waiting for?
The embargoed section.
Yes.
Or you're waiting for embargo? Okay. Any other questions for embargo? All right, we'll give you maybe the last 8 minutes, chairman of such. We'll give you that. Yeah. So let's continue with the live section. There's a hand here from Kamu. I've noted Jabulo. Yeah.
Let's see. Good afternoon, Coach. Gomora United from BFM. Coach, I mean, you've played the likes of the teams that you play with in the Motsepe Foundation, but now it's the Nedbank Cup you're facing Mamelodi Sundowns. Are your preparations for this game any different, or it's business as usual, Gomora United, let's go about our business the way we've been going about with our business?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. But of course, we know it's going to be much more difficult. We've played Sundowns in friendly games, even in September and December of last year, with all their best players. So we've experienced them in friendly matches and what they can do. So we know what is coming, but our preparation are the same. You try to look at what the opponents do and what are their strengths. I mean, the players know the Sundowns themselves. We're not presenting something that they do not know, and they know us very well, of course, Sundowns, having played us in the friendlies, and of course, they've watched us for sure in all the matches, so they'll be ready for us. So we've done the normal preparations. The rest is you hope the players don't get too nervous. For those that are playing this type of match, official match and a friend is not the same thing. We played in the evening. We've never played in the evening with Gomora United at Loftus Stadium, that venue of that size. So you hope all those factors, the players are able just to take them in and just focus on the game.
Okay, let's move on to Jabulo. Jabulo from News 24. Coach Ashley, this team comes from a place that has produced some number of talent that have played at the highest level. What is having a team in the professional rank been like for people of Alex in terms of what it means for them, and how has the process been in terms of ensuring that the team is there as not just in name, but also trying to see talent from there getting a place to sort of get a chance?
Yeah, Gomora United, of course, has its roots from Alexander, from the chairman, which was Shaneho. We've got Patrick Puma, who's from Alex, who's part of the technical team. We've got some players from Alex and, of course, surrounding townships. But of course, it's been a challenge that Gomora doesn't play in Alexander. Alex Stadium is not suitable to host games of Motsepe Foundation Championship. So we've played our games in Pretoria, and now recently played in Malamulele. So that is the challenge, of course, that the very community can access their team. So, but yeah, it's something that is in the management is trying to work around that in the future, that stadium can be made available, can meet the required standards to host the games at professional level. But yeah, that process, we don't know how long it will take. But that's the situation now. But we're very much steeped in Alexander. There's the number of players identified also from Alexander. Alexander is beaming with talent. It's not only Gomora United that prized players from Alexander, but many other teams in the PSL as well.
Okay, thank you, Coach. In the interest of time, I'm going to head straight to the Margot section. I know there were still some hands live, but let's go to the Nyando. So again, colleagues, I'm putting it on the record. This next question is in Margot. Maybe I said 8 o'clock, but since it's your question, what time would you? Tomorrow. Okay, so this is it's no longer 8 o'clock because it's only him participating in the market. So it will be tomorrow morning.
From 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow is 12.
Thank you.
I know the schedulers. Yeah, Coach, I think just continuing with the question from Jabulo, I was in KZN and I noticed something and how Gauteng is no longer the headquarters in terms of Gauteng is left with just three teams competing with even Limpopo, KZN even has got more teams. How much of a burden does this put on the Gauteng teams in particular in the NFD to ensure that you fight for the promotion? And as someone who grew up and started with football and everything in this province, how important is for Gauteng to, especially Johannesburg, to go back to those numbers of having more teams in top flight football? A point in question is that this game is the only Gauteng match in this competition in the last 32.
Yeah, I think football belongs to everyone in the country. And I mean, if every province has teams in the PSL or NFT, it's good for the country. You know, if the resources can be spread throughout all the provinces, it will be good. You know, instead of everyone has to come to Gauteng for to play football or to succeed. You know, I think it's important for the country that each and every corner of the country there's progress, there's growth, there's talent everywhere in the country. And for me, I hope that becomes the norm. You know, of course, when you from a technical side, then you do a lot of traveling, which of course long distances by road at this level, and of course it has effect on how you prepare a team, how you train, and how you rest. Your whole periodization process uh, becomes a little bit difficult. But look, those are the cards that are dealt with. You can't make any excuses. You know, we were in Tuesday, we're in Northwest, and then on Friday we're in Malamulela. You know, we got two draws, but we threw both those games, and it's a lot of traveling. It's hard on the body and on the players, but you have to take it and do your best under those circumstances. No excuses.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take the last one, the public section of the press conference. Mr. Masasi.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Sure.
Coach, my question is maybe speak a little bit about yourself. You are a tried and tested veteran of our football. You're a top player during the day and that kind of stuff. Just as you see there, you look back in your journey as a former player and now as a coach. How do you reflect on that, and also just how important it is to have guys like you, looking at the next generation of footballers to sort of progress to the Premiership. You also mentioned Patrick Pugwayo, who's also a former footballer. Just how important it is to have you guys looking after the upcoming players, and just to reflect on your journey. It has been quite a long and exciting journey of yourself in football.
No, thanks for the compliment. I don't really talk about myself, but if I'm sitting here for the first time in such a setting, but yeah, everything has its time. Football is a journey. You just start out with a dream, inspiration in Soweto, watching football, playing football, because that's all you could do in those early 80s. And you are inspired by many teams, many players. I remember watching black and white TV, watching, I remember the first goal I saw on TV scored by Opry the Great Mahobela, Swallows. Wonderful volley. I still remember that goal vividly. So those are the inspirations growing up, watching Chomoso and Orlando Paris. My father is a great Paris supporter and still is. We're all Paris supporters at home. So that was the journey growing up in Soweto. And of course, the big inspiration was my uncle Ernest Makhanya went to play for Paris from 1985. So that was even a bigger inspiration for myself to play the game and reach the highest levels. So the opportunity came, of course, for me in '97 when I joined Wits University under Eddie Lewis at that time. Uh, we just came back from the AFCON under 20 when I joined Wits. We lost to Morocco 1-0. Then I trained once, and then Eddie Lewis was impressed. You know, his actual words were because that session it was 96-97 season, so the team was in the relegation zone and they were preparing to play. I can't recall who they were playing, but that was your match day -1 when I joined the session, and it was just a kickabout, losing up session, head tennis, passing the drill, that basic stuff before the match. And of course, after that training, Eddie Lewis called me aside together with Stanton Frederick and said, I like this guy. I don't know why I like you, but I like you, so I'm signing you. That's how I got signed. But I never got to play. That season, they told me, no, we are fighting for relegation, we're just preparing you for next season. And that's how I got to be part of it. Now I must continue.
We'll add more time, but it's a good story.
Zimbabwe.
I like that. Yeah, I was at risk for my entire football career. Of course, different coaches over the years. But it was not a lot of coaches. After Louis, it was John Lathan. And then we had the Scottish coach, Jim Bone. Then it was Roger Disa for many years. And then it was Bobby Solomons. And then Roger Disaba again. Then call it quits in 2007. But I still had a year to go. I had a contract up from 2008. But already that 07-08 season, I was done. My body, I had taken too much abuse from many wingers, so I could not go on anymore. I had to a lot of those wingers. I twisted my ankles and knees a lot. So and then Roger and Eric Tindler asked me to come into the technical team as a second assistant. So that's how then I went into full-time coaching. But my coaching journey had already started long ago in 2001. Of course, many people don't know that when I stayed in Chawela 3, where my parents still stay, I had a team there, started coaching for 2 years. And in that period, the Scottish coach, Jim Bone, used to run coaching workshops at Max Park with the Vets juniors coaches every Sunday, because we used to play our games on Fridays. So I started attending those workshops. They went on for about 6 months, And then, of course, I coached from then on. And then in 2003, I coached at West Juniors itself at Max Park. So I would come from training session here at Mill Park Stadium and go down there and continue my coaching. So coach at Pinoni, then I coached at various schools throughout until I retired in 2007. So when I retired, I was already coaching young players. Even one of the players I coached in 2003, Figim Timkulu, went on to play for Sundowns, was part of that Kodin Kisant team when they won the league. So it was just a seamless transition for me when I was asked to come into the first team setup, and then the club then, of course, took a decision to establish an elite youth development structure. Was part of all that process, in 2008. They got an ABC multiple team, then it was Vodacom League, and then established an academy. They built that whole setup at Starrock Park. So put in a lot of work. Still, my team was the CEO at that time. He had a great vision to set up with Roger and Eric. So yeah, that's when the real work began. First intake of players in 2008 into the under 17 structure. One of them was Lebo Hampir, was part of that first intake to establish the academy. And a whole lot of players came in 2009. Sposiso Villagazi, Mamelodi Sundowns, many guys that they've passed through over the years from that structure and went on to have careers in Viet and outside. Wits University that became known as Peter's Wits. Yeah, and then the vision was great, and the work that has been done, contribution to the game has been massive, and one has learned a lot over the years as a coach and able to transfer the knowledge as a player, but also to learn, go through coaching education and not just coach from playing experience. Yes, it has value, that playing experience, but of course it has limitations in terms of real technical work with the players and how to identify talent and of course grow that talent, help that talent to be better, to be effective. Yeah, so I've had opportunity through Peter's Face to study here and achieve, get my coaching qualifications up to KFA license and be part also of the KNV program that Vets had with the Dutch Federation to study also what they do in Holland and to go that side and see how they do things. So I've had that privilege, to work in football and to serve, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had as a player and as a coach now. And I can only pray that I continue to contribute to the game just as much as the game has contributed to my life.